and start the recording.
Gotcha.
Okay, welcome to lesson 8 of our grade 3 Braille class. And we have quite a few returning participants, so thank you for rejoining us. We are going to go over part 2 of outlining tonight, and I will be leading us. First, what I'd like to do is a quick review of part 1. So if people missed it, or if we went a little fast, or you didn't catch something, you'll have it. So what I'd recommend people do, and I might give it a few seconds here for everyone to jump on, but to get either a Braille note or Brailler or Slate and write this out. You don't even have to write lesson 8 at the top. You can just write rules of outlining, because this will be a reference sheet that you use and hopefully memorize throughout the duration of grade 3. So if everyone wants to get something to write with, and I'll kind of review last week's, we'll go over this week's, and we'll talk about how we can use it in some sample sentences. So as you may recall, our first rule of outlining is only the vowel A may be omitted from words containing one syllable. That's an easy one. So thus, fat, F-A-T, has one syllable containing the vowel A. That vowel can thus be omitted. The word is written F-T. And it gives another example. Rod, in comparison, also has one syllable. Since the vowel in this word is an O, however, that vowel must be retained because only the vowel A may be omitted. Therefore, this word is written out, R-O-D. Do not omit the A in a one-syllable word containing it if such an omission would produce a combination of letters which might be confused with another word. Thus, the A in sad is not omitted because the resulting combination of letters would be SD, which we all know is the short form for said. The A would not be dropped in calm because the resulting letter combination may be read as calm or clam. So I'm going to read that rule at the very top once more. So if you're just joining us, feel free to grab something to write with. And I'm doing a little review at first, but that way you will have more of a reference sheet to go by. And as I had said before, we can just write rules of outlining at the top. That way you'll have something to save and to read over and over. So our first rule, and you don't have to write all that big blurb that I read, but rule number 1, only the vowel A may be omitted from words containing one syllable. Only the vowel A may be omitted from words containing one syllable. And like they said, the sad and said, or calm and clam, don't do it if there's confusion. Exception in words of one syllable in which I precedes the GH sign, the I may be omitted. So under my first rule, I just put like exception with some asterisks. In words of one syllable in which I precedes the sign for GH, the I may be omitted. Hence, in sight, the I immediately precedes the GH sign and may thus be omitted. This word is written S-GH sign T. Okay, so our second rule, in the first syllable of a word of more than one syllable, only the vowel A may be outlined. So in the first syllable of a word of more than one syllable, we're only taking out the vowel A for now. I'll give everyone a chance to write that. First syllable of a word of more than one syllable, only the vowel A may be outlined. Thus, they give banter, B-A-N-T-E-R, for instance, is a word of more than one syllable with the vowel A in the first syllable. That vowel, therefore, may be omitted, resulting in BNTER sign. On the other hand, prefer, which also has more than one syllable, does not have the vowel A in the first syllable, and no vowel omission can therefore be made. So that was our first two rules of outlining. And we're going to go to our lesson today, which I'm just saying verbally breaking it up for you, but I would keep on the same page, the same reference sheet. So our third rule, any of the vowels can usually be omitted from syllables other than the first one. Rule number 3, any of the vowels can usually be omitted from syllables other than the first one. So we had talked about omitting that first A. Well, they're saying you can't omit an E from the first syllable. You can't omit an O from the first syllable. But any others can be omitted in other syllables. And the example they give is connect. So they're using CONNCT. We dropped that E. Now we'll give another example. And I want someone to give a hand. How would we write the word inflict using this rule? Inflict.
Okay. Area code 417 or 407, excuse me, you can unmute.
Okay, it would be IN sign FLCT.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And then we have two more. I will talk through one and we'll get a hand for one. For the first one, I'm going to talk through. You can lower the hands, Lucy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so our next one they give us, I'll just discuss it. It's protest. And protest has two syllables. The first vowel is an O. So it is not an A in that first syllable. So we cannot omit it. But we can omit that second vowel, which is the E. So we have PROTST sign. In our third one, a little more in depth, how would you write disinfectant? Isn't that word convenient for these times? Disinfectant.
Ralph, you can unmute.
Would it be the DIS sign, the IN sign, the FCT and T?
Yes. So we're omitting two vowels there. We're omitting the E in fect and the A in ANT. So we have, I'll just say it one more time in case people are writing this all out. DIS sign, IN sign, F, C, T, N, T. And it says, so this is still under rule number 3. They don't give it a second. They don't give it another number, but I would almost give it number 4. Okay, it's under number 3. Yeah, it is part of 3. We'll keep it under 3. Vowels should not be omitted in the following situations. And I'm going to describe them. So vowels should not be omitted in the following situations. And I'll read all these out and we'll talk through them. So A, when two or more vowels follow each other, they should be retained. When two or more vowels follow each other is A. In the word influence, for example, the U and the E follow each other. even though the E comprises the first E in the ENCE contraction, neither the U nor the E can be outlined because they follow each other. B, when the vowel occurs before Y, the vowel is retained. When it occurs before Y, the vowel is retained. Thus, in valley, the E occurs before the Y and is therefore retained. V-A-L-L-E-Y, they kept the E. C, when a vowel begins or ends a word, it is retained. So we never outline the first or the last letter. I remember one time I got an email, this is back 10, 12 years ago, and the subject was about reading music. And when you read music, you glance at the whole thing. And they were saying the mind reads words like it reads music. So we glance at the first letter, we glance at the last letter. And before we even read the whole thing and comprehend, our mind is already putting it together. So if you have like the word fact, you're going to see the F and the T, and then you're going to see the AC. So it's very easy for the mind to put it together that way. So they say under the C rule, when the vowel begins or ends the word, thus the A cannot be dropped from anger, and the final E cannot be omitted from convene. Okay, so D, when a vowel is a part of a contraction sign, it is retained. The omission of such vowels would save no space. In garter, neither the A nor the E would be omitted because they are both contained within contractions, the A being the sign for AR and the E in the sign for ER. So really garter, G-A-R sign, T-E-R sign. If you did omit something, it would not save any space. And that concludes that portion. So there's an exercise, but what I will do just for everyone's convenience is I'll go back under that rule number 3 and I'll read the A, B, C, and D real quickly. So vowels should not be omitted in the following situations. A, when 2 or more vowels follow each other. B, when the vowel occurs before Y. C, when a vowel begins or ends a word. And D, when a vowel is a part of a contraction sign. So those are the 4, they should not be omitted in those cases. Now, there's an exercise. So it says, why is it not permissible to drop the following vowels? And we'll just do a couple of these and we'll kind of discuss what rule it pertains to. So why is it not permissible to drop the IA in the word dial? If anyone wants to raise a hand. Why would you not drop that IA if you're writing out dial?
Ralph?
Because the vowels follow each other.
Yes, correctly. So that is using rule A on that reference that I just gave out. Why would you not omit the O in bond, B-O-N-D? I'll take another hand.
Mary? You can unmute.
Because it's a 1-syllable word and the only vowel you can omit from that would be A.
Correct. And why would you not omit the A in scare? Want to take one more hand?
Yeah. Area code 951. You can unmute.
Right, because there's a contraction in the beginning of that one. Is that correct?
Yes. So if we omitted the A, we'd have SCRE. But now we have SCAR sign E. So what does that help us? It doesn't.
Right.
And we'll do one more. Why would we not omit the E in pulley?
Hannah, you can unmute.
Because it's a vowel that precedes a Y.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have that down pretty much. And let's see. One more. This is a little tricky. Why would we not omit the first E in the word bracelet? The first E in bracelet.
Nobody?
Nobody. And I was trying to think of this myself. Do you have any comments, Nancy or Bob?
Bracelet. Brace.
Yeah,
It looks too much like bracelet. And you see, the E is a silent E in brace, and it shows you it's a long A or something, you know. And it would be written as BRCLT. It's too ambiguous. It's BRCELT. Oh, you couldn't. You would probably have to keep the E also at the end, bracelet, because BRCELT is, you know what I mean? That's
bracelet. That'd be bracelet.
That's brackelt, but
no,
CELT. You see, it looks. And I was actually going to get into another. I was going to give you another example of where you don't eliminate a vowel. But have we finished this one yet, or? You
can go ahead and give it. We can add it to our.
Take the word, Kristen. This is something that you might be reflex. REFLEX. Can't eliminate the E in the second syllable. Why not?
Yeah, I was going to say why not?
Like
because
what about the word reflux?
Yeah, be too confusing.
But
and
if you
that comes under
context,
that comes under the general outlining rules that if the elimination of any vowel anywhere the word can have more than one meaning, then you don't eliminate it. Reflux. So
because they're not giving us any leeway for context in this book.
That's true.
No, not in this book. Although the Hayden book has a lot of leeway. She basically says you can almost make your own code, whereas Rodenberg gives you more of the stipulations.
Yeah.
And this book is more textbook style.
Ralph has his hand up.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Okay, when you write bracelet, why wouldn't you write BRACELT? Because LET is let, right?
But you can take the A out of the word. You just can't take the E out.
Right, I get that. BRCELT.
Right.
Because
because CELT is Celt, but But if I saw that written like that, BRCELT, I would think it was bracelet. That's what I would think if I saw that.
I didn't know if there was ambiguity, and remember the LT was let, PT put, so that's not incorporated.
No,
in this case.
LT is let only if it's used by itself
By
or with a
itself, yeah.
suffix
Okay.
or a prefix, not within a word. So,
Although in this exercise, they word it, why can't you omit the first E in bracelet? So they're not saying you can't omit the last E.
yeah, that's
Right.
true. You're right. They're
Well, the
actually
first-
implying that you can omit it.
You can, yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Mhm.
And
And
the first E,
I'm going to tell you another thing. When I was in college, Valley, I always eliminated the E because V and a sneak preview, the LL, I would use the LL sign and the Y. I mean, anyway.
Yeah,
But-
you could.
yeah, I don't,
And what else
yeah,
could it mean?
it doesn't
you know?
follow the
So,
rule. You're right.
It doesn't
wouldn't-
follow the rules, but
It
what else could
doesn't
it
mean
mean?
anything else. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know why they couldn't eliminate that one either.
Because, well, why acts as the vowel?
Right,
you see?
exactly.
And
Right.
therefore they said it's two vowels in a row and you don't outline when there's two vowels in a row, E and Y. And they would
But in
also appear at the end of,
outlining, they don't
appear at the
count.
end of the word, like idea.
But they don't count in outlining. Remember, they don't count Y and W as sometimes vowels, like we know they are. They don't
Right.
count those in outlining rules. They say the vowels they're concerned with are A, E, I, O, U. So in that case, Y, they don't count Y as a vowel, even though in grammar, correct grammar, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
So
well, and if I really like the Hayden book for that. It's a little harder to follow than the Rodenberg book, but it gives you a little more leniency on some of those rules. And there's two schools of thought on grade 3, which when I did our initial BRL call with Constance Griesmer, we kind of went over, there's the Hayden thought and there's the Rodenberg. And I kind of joked and said it's like ACB and NFB.
oh God.
I was thinking more in
So-
terms of liberal and conservative, where one is more.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of fall with the Hayden rule where if I'm writing a letter to Bob and he can read it, he understands it at first look, it's fine. It's grade 3. So
Yeah.
next we'll go over a couple more. This time we're going to talk about how we would outline the following words. And these are a little tricky. Access, ACCESS, if anyone wants to give a hand. Access.
All right. Hannah.
I'm just going to take a guess at it and say A, and then the dropped C for CC, and then SS.
I don't have the answer key, but that's how I would do it. Is that how you would do it, Nancy? And Bob?
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
I
And
did it that way all the time, but as a
Yeah.
sneak preview to everybody, there is an SS sign.
there is an
too.
SS sign, yeah. There
Oh
is, but
goodness.
Yeah. For now, that's how I do it. But at some point, you could do ACC SS sign.
mhm, that would be correct once you learn that. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to go with Daisy.
DAISY, is it
Mhm.
Yes.
how you're spelling that? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Cat. Oh, you lowered your hand.
Oops.
All right. Ralph.
Okay.
When you write that DAISY, you can't remove the AI, right?
Because they're together. Yes. So you would not outline because two vowels follow each other.
Very good.
Let's see.
Good catch.
Yeah, see, the next one they give us language, and that would be the same thing. You could omit that first A. You'd have L, N, G, U, A, G, E, because that final E can't be dropped, and neither can the UA combination. Okay, let's see.
There's a nice nifty reason why diphthongs cannot be outlined, which you'll learn in not too far coming up here.
Okay, nice to know.
There's a nice nifty reason why.
Spectacle. How would you write spectacle?
Okay, I think Kat had a question prior to your.
Go ahead.
Kat, you can unmute. You can unmute.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't figure out where the mute button was because this is a webinar and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Sorry. So I just was wondering because I had come in a little bit late, but I was wondering about the questions that you were just talking about with like the two vowels being together, and that can get rather complicated because you think that you can just eliminate everything, which is kind of what I thought, but you can't. And then the other thing I had a question about, I do want to answer the spectacle question, but I did have a question about you were saying the difference between Hayden and Rodenberger. So I'm assuming Hayden is the one that writes the key to grade 3 and Rodenberger is the one that writes the code to grade 3?
You have it opposite. So Hayden writes the Braille code, a guide to grade 3. Rodenberg writes key to grade 3.
No, you're saying the difference in, okay, so you're saying the difference in thought, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The difference in thought would be that you said one gives a lot of latitude, which is the one that rates key to grade 3, or the other one? I'm
The
confused.
Braille code, a guide to grade 3. That one gives a little more leniency. She talks about how if it makes sense and if there's no confusion, you can do what works for you on some of these cases, if it makes sense in the context.
And that's the one that's
Rodenberg? The Ruth Hayden, and she writes the Braille code, a guide to grade 3.
Okay, and then the other one is the one, yeah, because when you were just referring to the different people, I was like, who is that? I was confused. I know it was the two different people.
That's the 2 books on Bard.
Okay, and then yeah, and I'm going to get them from Catherine Thomas. Thank you guys for the information. I'm going to definitely do that in the next few weeks. And you said spectacle. How do you spell it? S-P-E-C-T?
S-P-E-C-T-A-C-L-E.
Okay, so okay, so I think the first E could be removed because that's no, you can't. Wait a minute. No, you can't. Duh, you can't do that because the first A it's only in a. Okay, sorry, I just got caught up with all my lessons literally on Sunday, so I'm trying to remember most of it.
Yeah, and this will be recorded as well, so you can go back and
look at it. What was you said? S-P-E-C-T what now?
A-C-L-E. It's kind of a trick.
Oh, can I have a hint, please?
You can't outline anything, and here's why. Because spectacle, it's 3 syllables. So our first vowel is an E. You cannot outline that E from the first syllable, only an A. The A, you can't remove the A unless it's the first syllable. And the E stays because it's the end. We never outline the last letter.
You can outline, wait a second. You can outline A's from other syllables.
Well, I had it written, or I've always done it.
Really?
You outline A's from the middle?
Because it even says,
Yes, I've done that too, but that doesn't mean it's
'cause it
right.
even- well, no, because what I'm saying is that the other rule, even the second rule even says you can outline any vowel usually can be omitted from syllables other than the first one. And they even had examples where the A was omitted from other syllables
Oh,
other
yeah.
than the first.
Okay.
Like
Now I get it. Yep.
disinfectant.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd have
So-
SPECTCLE.
Spectacle, yeah. So I mean, it's just the only syllable that's picky on any vowel is the first one. It's just A.
Okay. Yeah. I've been a little stricter in my own
Yeah,
outlining.
you
but
know,
good to know.
but there is something else. There is something else. Write the word, and you gotta CTC, and then the LE after that.
Right.
You might, just by looking at it, you're saying, wait a minute, there's a vowel here missing someplace, but I can't figure it out quite where. Is it between the first C and the T, or is it between the T and the second C? And that's
Yeah,
going
but
to
what
take
other
a little
word
time
could
to,
that be?
it couldn't, but what I'm saying is, in terms of fluency in reading, the time you take to figure that out, unless it's in context, it's going to take a little bit, and so you may want to just leave it in
If
for
it's not
clarity. That's what
fluent.
I'm saying.
Yeah. If it's not easily
Yeah.
recognizable.
Right. Now, if you're writing
I would
about spectacles or events or something, it's, oh, that must be spectacle, yeah. But if it's just out of the blue, it's going to take you about a few seconds to figure out what that word is.
Or miracle, MIRCLE.
No, you wouldn't take the A out in that place, because the A, and you haven't seen this rule yet, but the A being the only vowel in that syllable, they're the only letter in that syllable.
Oh, yes, I did.
Call.
Mhm.
And you can't
Oh.
take that out,
Yes,
because
okay.
Got some hands raised.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a couple questions,
Yeah,
and then we'll do a few more.
Yeah, thanks for
right.
that.
Mary.
Okay, in the word spectacle, I mean, I guess if you're going by the Hayden philosophy, in the Braille code, actually, I would recognize that word if it was just written as SPCTCLE, because I can't imagine how else it would get confused with anything.
yeah, but you still can't take out you still can't take out the E, because other words that would be confused if you did that, that would be inconsistent with the rules. But if you want to do that with your own notes, I suppose you could. I
Okay.
wouldn't do that if you were going to send it away to anybody.
No, not if you're sending it off.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay, everybody else lowered their hand, so.
Okay, so then we have another set of rules. So this is number 4, and I think this gets to some of our discussion. Rule number 4, vowels are not dropped unless their omission is obvious. Their omission is not considered to be obvious in the following situations. So their omission is not considered to be obvious if, and I'll read these out. So A, when the omission of the vowel brings together two letters which often occur together in English words, so that the absence of the vowel is not immediately apparent. In calendar, for example, the first A cannot be dropped because the letters C and L are brought together. Since many words in English begin with CL, the absence of the A is hard to detect, and omitting that vowel, therefore, would make the word hard to recognize.
It would look like Klender.
Yeah, Klender. So that's A, when the omission of the vowel brings together two letters which often occur together in English words so that the absence of the vowel is not immediately apparent. B, when the vowel forms a syllable in itself. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
There's your miracle.
Miracle. When the vowel forms a syllable in itself. For example, in unabashed, the first A forms the second complete syllable of the word and thus may not be dropped. I like miracle better than unabashed.
Yeah, they both fit.
A vowel which comprises a syllable is usually omitted when it occurs after the identity of the word is established. Thus, the A can be omitted from portable. And they show it PORTBLE sign. So that's already, you know what the word is. So if it's like a suffix, it's the ending part. So C, our third exception, when the vowel in question is the stressed vowel with a long sound occurring in a stressed syllable. Stress means emphasis. The stressed vowel and the stressed syllable, therefore, is that element given particular emphasis in pronunciation. In infuse, for example, the U is stressed and the vowel with a long sound occurring within a stressed syllable. Thus, it is not dropped. If a stressed syllable has a stressed vowel, which has a short sound, that vowel may be outlined in most circumstances. So only outline the short of the stressed syllable. In such words as restrict, concoct, conduct, and exact, the stressed vowels are outlined since they have a short sound. Hence, these words are outlined. Effect, so EFF sign, CT, restrict, RESTRCT. We're only outlining that because the first syllable is the E, not the A. Concoct, CONCCT. I don't like that one. I would not know. Concoct, CONCCT.
That one, I think it's looks a little odd myself, but
yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Conduct, CONDCT, and exact, EXCT, respectively. So, if it's the stressed syllable, only outline the short vowel. Exception, in a word which contains a stressed syllable containing an A, which has a long sound, that A may be outlined, even though it is a stressed vowel with a long sound. In a word which contains a stressed syllable containing an A, which has a long. So the A's can only be outlined in the first letter of the word and in a word which contains a stressed syllable of an A, which has a long sound. That A may be outlined even though it is the stressed vowel with a long sound. Hence, in exhale, the A in the second syllable, which is stressed, may be outlined even though that A has a long sound.
I don't understand that one.
Okay, basically what it's saying is, oh, sorry, should I?
Go ahead. You can do it better.
Okay. Well, no, I don't know if I do better than the book, but okay, so basically any other syllable, well, you understand what stressed is, right, Lucy?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, so if it's a short vowel sound, you can take it out.
Yeah.
if it's a long vowel sound of anything but an A, A's just are the exception here. If it's a long vowel sound of E, I, O, or U, you cannot remove it if it's in a stressed syllable. But if it's an A doesn't really, I guess A's, if you take out the a long A, it doesn't mess up the meaning of the word as much as other vowels would if you take it out.
So A's you can always take it out if it's a long sound and it's the stressed syllable.
Or if remember that you can remove vowels of short sound from from the stressed syllable like that. So A's would obviously count as part of that too.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of have a conspiracy theory. I think the people who invented grade 3 don't like A because A can be removed from the first syllable. It's the only one, and the long A can be removed from additional syllables.
Oh, I don't think it's that. I think it's that it's just it's A is the. I know you're cute guy.
So there's a couple more rules, and we'll go through that, and then we can take a few questions. So in that exhale example, they are writing it EXHLE.
Yep.
5. When a vowel is dropped, the consonant thus joined cannot be contracted.
Right.
When the A is omitted from satisfy, for example, the S and the T follow each other, but the contraction for ST cannot be used because it would throw you off.
Yeah.
You would think it's.
I see.
Yes. Okay, so it gives a couple more exercises. Tell why it is not permissible to drop the vowels from the following words. There's a lot of them here, so we'll just do a few. A, so why aren't we dropping the A in disability? Why would we not drop the A in disability? Anyone wants to?
Anybody? All right. Hannah.
Well, I would guess you can't drop the A because that would be because it's a syllable by itself. Is that correct?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yay. Excellent.
That was a hard one.
That was a hard one. I was hoping somebody would get it, and they did.
Why not drop the A in pad?
Okay. Ralph. Sorry, Ralph.
Because if you took the A away, PD would be paid.
Yeah.
Very good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And have it confused.
And some of these you just know like that. You wouldn't have to go grab out the rules that we just wrote up. Why not outline the I in compile? This is kind of an easy one.
Excuse me.
Kat?
I think it would be because Compile, I is it's like a stressed vowel, and it's a long sound, number one, but it's also a stressed syllable, it seems. So
Vowel.
I don't think it would
Correct.
work.
Yeah,
Correct.
you got it. Now, why not outline the, let's see, where was the one I was just looking at? The third I in implicit. Why not outline the third I in implicit?
Now that's a darn good question because
I wish they had the answer key. There's gotta be somewhere an answer key.
Okay. I think I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Mary?
Yep.
Would it be because it would look like implict?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look
Mhm.
like, yeah. It wouldn't
Yeah.
sound, it wouldn't create the right sound for the word.
There was a
So-
rule about the two in English, if eliminating the vowel forms two consonants which are common in the English language,
Right.
you don't eliminate that vowel. So C and T
That's
at the end of
right.
order. Yeah.
Oh, that's a better way to say that. Yeah.
All right, let's find us one more hard one. Then we'll. Oh. Let's see. Why not outline the first A in fallacy? Fallacy.
All right, Ralph.
Is it because that would be very confusing? With FLL to be full, fell?
That's what I would go with.
It's one of those common consonant combinations that you would bring together if you took out the A, FL. So yeah, it would be
Okay, well that's that too.
yeah, it would look confusing because of that consonant combination you're bringing together.
Gotcha.
Except
Yeah.
I have a question for my fellow panelists here. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but there is a sign for LL. So
Yes,
if you
there
wrote
is.
F and then the LL sign, obviously the consonant couldn't be left out during the vowel couldn't be left out between the L's. So the only place there must obviously be a missing vowel between the first F and the L.
I would agree with you on that because I would write the word FLL sign, CY sign.
Yeah, that's how I
So
would.
that's how I would
And
do
then
it.
you wouldn't
But
even, there would be no confusion.
no, well,
No.
yeah, actually, you might have to have the A in before the CY sign because it is a syllable unto itself.
Can I
Fallacy.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Why don't they show us all of the contractions before the rules? Because in cases where you say, oh, okay, there's an LL sign. Oh, okay, there's a this sign. The rules are going to change.
Well, Lucy, I agree with you there. And actually, when I was taught grade 3 Braille, outlining and the first things we learned, the whole word, they were saved until the end when we went through all these signs.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's how I wrote it out when I wrote it out for myself. Is I wrote all the signs first, terminal, medial, initial, everything. I wrote all that first, and then I wrote all the rules. So when I did it for myself, that's how I did it too.
Yeah, outlining is
That's
one
exactly
of the
how
last
the
things.
And that's
Burn
how I
book
would.
does it.
That's how, if I were teaching a class on grade 3, that's exactly how I would teach it. I would teach all the signs first, and then the rules. I would have done it that way.
This is not,
But
I don't know.
Well, and I looked through when I started teaching this. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, Hadley must have a reason, but I haven't yet figured out that reason.
I haven't either. So that's why when I rewrote it for myself, I wrote it that way, and that's the way I would teach it. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought, well, and I didn't know it fully. I knew the basics, but I'm like, well, they must have a reason behind that.
They
So,
probably have some educators fancified philosophical reason why they do it.
Well, it's not hitting me.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't hit me either. But
Okay, you have a couple of questions. Keisha,
okay.
you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple questions. If I understand right, you said the long vowels can't be eliminated, or they can.
the long vowels cannot, unless they're just talking about stressed syllables now, not any other syllables. They're just talking about syllables that are stressed. The long vowels cannot be eliminated except for the letter A.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one that can.
Okay. And in concoct, can you use the CC contraction for the
No, because remember when there's the rule that says if you take out a vowel and you bring two letters together that could otherwise be contracted, you cannot contract them because you'd confuse the word if you did that.
Okay.
If you looked at that, it would confuse. It would confuse things if you did it.
Yeah, and this, if you see two C's together, since there is a CC sign, therefore you know that there is a vowel missing. The question is which one, but anyway. Yeah.
But a CC never separate when you see a CC together, that never separates two vowels, the CC sign.
That is correct.
So that's the other reason why you would never want to do that, because the two C's, you wouldn't necessarily get that it was two CC, a CC. I don't know, it would look weird.
There aren't two C's together in concoct anyway.
No, there's not. Oh, concoct C-O-N C-O-C-T.
Yeah.
C-O-N
So it looks
C-O-C-T.
It'd look like C-O-N-C-O-N-T if you did it that way.
Yeah.
That isn't even, I don't know.
I get it, but no, that's why you can't do it. You have to write the two C's out, so it won't be confusing. She's still confused.
Yeah, and here's what I was thinking too. This will all be recorded, but next Thursday, Audrey is leading, and Audrey is an educator, where Nancy and Bob and I are not. But what if we do one big review next week of not only outlining, but everything? And we try to write some words, write some sentences, and just put it all together before we rush someone to a new concept.
Yeah, I was kind of, you kind of solved my problem there. That's a very good idea. I think we've done so much today, and you did it very well, Kristen. Your voice is just excellent to listen to. I could listen to it all night. But I mean, if anybody had to teach this lesson, I'm glad it was you. I think that's a very good idea.
Okay, Ralph has his hand up.
One last question. If I wrote the word or sentence, I'm going to write this on a notepad. And not lower. Wouldn't I put N lower J PAD?
Actually, notepad is one word, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct on that? Okay, so
yes.
Notepad, you would not have to retain. You could take the A out of pad because it's a second. It's not the first syllable, and it's a short sound, and it's also not the stressed syllable.
Okay, got that.
So N lower J
PD?
PD would be correct on that. Wait a second. N lower J, the lower J, the TE, actually that's not correct. TE cannot be used in the middle of a word like that.
Okay, I was trying to keep that straight. Thank you.
Yeah, so TE, I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, TE cannot be used in the middle of a word the
So I
TE
could-
sign,
So it would be,
NOTEPD.
right, I couldn't eliminate the O or the E. It just
Right, that's
kind of
correct.
makes sense.
Right,
Okay, thanks.
sure.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any questions about what we covered tonight?
Yeah. Area code 951. Unmute. You can unmute 951. There you go.
Oh, hi. Hi, can you hear me? This is Nancy from California. I missed a few classes, no one's fault but my own. I had other things, I don't know. Is there someone who will send the actual, I mean, I'll take notes, but is there someone who sends the actual e-files in this group? You know, I mean, I can take notes.
We have recordings on YouTube, so
Yeah, I know
if
that.
anyone wants to, well, we really
but
try
no
to have people write it down because you actually learn a little
Okay.
more when you write it. So
I understand that.
there-
Yeah, I get that.
yeah.
It'd be neat if there were
So-
podcasts, but that's not easy to do, right? I mean, we can get some on YouTube, but can't make them podcasts. Is that correct?
We have them on
Some of them.
YouTube. I'm not willing to, I'm just a private person. I don't want 20 people trying to
Oh, okay.
Facebook request me. So I just don't do Spotify and all those podcasts for that reason.
Okay.
I run a small business here in Omaha. I live in Omaha, and you don't even know the spam emails, spam calls. So when you get too public, it goes crazy.
But I mean, if you need help in the meantime, you're willing to contact us. I mean, we're
Yeah.
Kristen and
There's
myself.
YouTube.
Yeah.
There's YouTube, and I'll give both our emails here since we're getting towards the end of the hour. If you would like clarification on concepts or someone to talk it through, please email Nancy at THESONGMAGE@yahoo.com. The song
Nancy
Mage.
at the song what? The song what?
Mage.
Nancy?
MAGE.
Oh, Mage.
The song
it's-
mage.
At thesongmage.com.
No.
No.
The song mage at yahoo.com.
Oh, at Yahoo. I'm sorry. Okay, got it.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you would like any links to recordings or specific, I mean, I do have notes. I'm not going to send everything we've ever covered, but if you say I missed the abbreviations, I can send that. Feel free to email me at Braille mailbox at gmail.com.
Braille mailbox at gmail.com. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Oh my gosh, this hour went fast.
It's almost
Did.
over? Seriously? Oh,
I wasn't
my
even looking
goodness.
at my.
Holy cow.
Holy
It did go
Moses.
fast.
It did. It just flew.
Oh, I know.
Boom.
And
Boom.
we covered
Goodbye.
a lot.
Wow.
So I think we will pretty much wrap it up. If you have questions, please email either one of us. And then next time, Audrey, if she's on tonight, or we can inform her, but we will conduct a big review and even go back to the numbers, the abbreviations.
Oh, I think
certain-
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Certain
be great.
phrases we'll make up. How would you write blank? And then we'll give 30 seconds, then we'll talk it through. So that'll be, bring your questions, bring your clarifications, and we'll review it all next week.
All right.
Maybe just we could see at some point, just if anybody has any questions about specific things before we just go reviewing everything, that way we find out what people need too.
If you want to email either of us and say, I would like more time on blank, or can you explain this rule in more depth, that'll guide our review.
That too. Yep.
So feel free to pull the reins. Pull the reins where you want them. And with that, it is the top of the hour. So I think we will go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you all for joining and for listening to my voice for an hour. I really appreciate it.
Well, that was great, Kristen.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Hey.